You are tuning in to tbrownmedia Mondays. Sit back, enjoy the interview. Only good vibes, only good vibes.
Damn, mama, that's a banger.
I pray you hear me. This is all for you. Yeah. This is Sukami, aka Hassan, and I'm with T Brown on Media Mondays.
What does your name mean?
It means come towards me.
What is the intention behind your music?
Saying the things that not a lot of people talk about, or it's not easy to talk about, the vulnerability. I feel like a lot of artists are scared to be seen. I mean, I'm scared to be seen too, but that's not gonna stop me from allowing myself to be seen. Some of the other stuff, I just want people to have fun and move and just feel good.
How do you feel like women have inspired you?
I spent a lot of time, being involved with women, talking to women, and I've heard a lot of stories about the fuck shit that be going on. But I also just, like I said, I spent a lot of time talking to women and around women. So I feel like through certain conversations that we might have about, I always say that men and women speak two different languages, and that's why we don't understand each other. We're not saying different things, it's just speaking two different languages. So I've always prided myself on being able to understand that language and kind of not repurposing it, but just saying it in another way that maybe men can understand and maybe, can bring some type of connection. A lot of the conversations that I'm having in my music are with women and towards women and about women. That's just where I'm most comfortable. Just like I said, I have a lot of experience. Not to really sound crazy. I know that sounds crazy, but it's dudes out here that have been with a lot of women, and it's dudes that have gone deeply with women, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like the surface. So I feel like that's what I have, certain experience in. And I just want to tell those stories. So the song that you're talking about is called Hold It Down.
Calm it down, baby, maybe we should pace it and see where we take it. Build something no one can erase it, cause I don't feel right till I'm next to you. I don't feel right till I'm in this booth. I don't feel right till I hit this J. Think about you in all the different ways. Girl, you done stood the test of time. Said that when I'm ready, I'ma make you mine. I'll never be ready, girl, I know that now. Praying in the meantime, you can hold it down.
Shout out to Femi, he actually produced that. I feel like it's a constant struggle in terms of being a creative, number one, kind of balancing that with the relationship. And I also feel like most women in my life have not held it down. Not to say they've held it down for certain points, but it's kind of got to be unconditional at a certain point. It can't just be because it's convenient for you or because you feel good about it. Sometimes love is about holding it down even when you don't feel the best, but you know the bigger picture, you know what I mean? Or if you know that it's worth it or whatever. So that's kind of what I just wanted to recreate with the video, those two viewpoints of are you gonna hold it down? Are you gonna be there for me? Or in my head, it's probably not, so I'm gonna have to do it on my own anyway. But it's just, you kind of gotta ask those questions when you get to a certain point, whether it's to a certain point in your artistry or in a relationship.
What do you feel like there's one thing about women that men don't understand?
It's so much, it's hard to pick. I feel like a lot of times men are just a little selfish and they don't know how to listen. A woman will tell you what she needs, you just need to listen. And, but also as a man, I've done the same thing. I'm selfish, so you could tell me what you need, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna be willing to give it to you. We'll say the right things, but the actions don't really follow up.
How do you feel like it could be easier to talk to women?
I've learned a lot about ego and kind of getting out of your own way. Take all your preconceived notions out the way. A lot of things that women say might not make sense when you first hear it, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't just put in the work and just ask them more. You know what I'm saying? Ask why do you think that? You know what I'm saying? I feel like I just love getting to know people's brains. So I'm very good at letting people talk. I'm very good at listening and applying it, but I kind of just had to get out of my own way, take away some of that ego of I know how shit should be, and anything that's not how I think it should be is wrong. But yeah, just talk to women more, man. I be hearing a lot of stories, just of how guys approach women. you know, a lot of shit is like hypersexualized in this culture, and like you really just trying to, like, a lot of people just trying to drink, smoke, and fuck, honestly, like, and you know, that shit could feel good, but you're not really gonna learn anything. So just talking and asking questions and listening.
People may know you from your podcast. What made you do the jump from doing the podcast to finally start releasing music?
That's the point of whether you have 1 or whether you have 1 million. There's a universe for you that's paying attention to what you're doing.
Even if you have just 2 fans, keep those 2 fans occupied
and work on that.
Like they believe in you.
Do your best
like,
to please them.
Yeah, those two people believe they give a fuck about you more than those 4 million you're chasing. Now, take care of those 2.
We were doing a podcast for a while, and you know, I'm not saying that it's over, but we've definitely taken a break. The pandemic had a little bit to do with it. It kind of just messed up our rhythm and our crew and things of that nature, and we kind of adjusted for a while. But during the pandemic, I kind of I didn't want to shoot a podcast by myself, and I also, you know, it takes a team to do certain, you know, the things that we were doing, and I'm very appreciative to that team. And once we weren't able to do it that way, I found myself just in my room, like staring at the ceiling. You know, during the pandemic, it was wild. Like, you know, we thought the world was about to end. Like, everybody was just bunkered up. You know what I'm saying? So I was just in my room for a lot of the time, just like, and I found out that found myself just listening to a lot of music, because that's usually how I kind of cope when I'm like in solitude. Yeah. But then the music just wasn't enough. Like, I feel like I needed, like, it got boring listening to music because I was doing it. So usually, like, you're driving or whatever, or it's just for an hour at the end of the day. It's not all day, every day. So I kind of was just like, damn, man, I got all this time on my hands. I was like, even if I make a song and I don't ever show it to anybody, let me try and experiment with all this time that I have. And we already had mics and stuff like that, so it was really seamless. But I was just like, man, let me just try and see what happens. And yeah, I mean, it was the first one I made. The song probably wasn't the best, but it was fun. Yeah. And that's when I kind of felt like this was just something I could do. Like I said, if I never show this to anybody, it's really something I'm doing for me, just to kind of, you know, and it's like, you know, journaling and things of that nature. I already had a lot of the prerequisites.
Now that you're taking this more serious, how do you keep the fun in it?
By challenging myself. I read in this book, it's either The War of Art, The Artist's Way, or Atomic Habits. That's like the last 3 books. Yeah. But it just talked about challenging yourself in ways that are still like attainable, but that are still gonna scare you a little bit. Yeah. I love a challenge when I think I can, you know, complete the challenge. Mm-hmm. Music has always been fun to me. Like listening to music, being around artists, that's always been fun to me even before I started doing music. So now I just surround myself by the right people that I love their art, people that I'm inspired by. But also, this started with me in a room, kind of just having fun, you know, for myself, to kind of make myself feel better. So that's what it's always going to be to me. Yeah. As big as I get and as many people hear my stuff, I always want to keep it, what's going to be fun to me? What music do I like listening to? What music am I trying to make today that's going to make me feel good? Yeah. I feel like that's the best way for me to kind of stay centered in it. Yeah.
Swear to God, this is coming from the heart. Looking at the start, wonder how the fuck we got this far apart. Really what we thought when we put our feelings in the pot and we let it sit. Know to make it work, you gotta mix. Plus you gotta shift. No one shit can shift, you gotta stick. Gotta stick it out. Girl, I know your ass since we was kids.
I've seen you perform a few times, and how are you able to bring that confidence on stage, even not having a project out?
I really feel like I got no choice, and I feel like I'm most at home when I'm doing things like that. Like even with the podcast, we had a live show, and I really felt at home, you know, being on stage. I've always been a shy guy, but like when I get in certain arenas, I guess it just comes out. So, like I said, I'm not about to be on stage looking shy. Like you gotta, you know, this thing is kind of like a fake it till you make it type of thing. So you gotta just talk to yourself and just be like, you know, are you about to show people something, or are you about to look scared? Like, it's either one of the two. So, yeah, kind of just It's God. Yeah.
Can't help but wonder, am I at peace with the man that I'm becoming? Am I less of a man? If I can't be with just one woman, am I less of a human? If there's some things that I can't stomach, is it me or you? Do you love it more?
What would be a piece of advice you would give to someone who's thinking about starting but is like too nervous?
Oh, I would say two pieces. One really quick one is that if you're nervous, it's probably a good thing. I always say that's like when you're going in the right direction, but it's just a voice you should listen to. Like, it's a thing you should listen to. If you're a little bit nervous, that means like you take it serious for the most part. I would say just find out who you are. I like music that I could tell the person that made it put themselves into it. And that's what I try to do with my stuff. And I don't want to feel like I feel like the world doesn't need more artists that aren't putting themselves into music. I feel like that's the whole point of art. So yeah, just know yourself and then put yourself out there.
What is the best piece of advice that an artist has given you?
To not give a fuck about what people think. I think as an artist, like, you kind of gotta balance it. Like, you obviously have to care about what people think, but when it comes to your art, you have to be unapologetic about your artistry.
What do you feel like you had to accept about yourself?
I had to accept that I'm not perfect. I've had this problem with like self-esteem ever since I was younger, so I kind of just had to accept, like, you know how somebody give you a compliment, you'll be like, like, you don't really believe what they're saying. Like, so I had to just accept like the good things that I hear about myself or that I know, but I just don't always accept that I was destined for greatness. But also I had to accept that I'm selfish, that I have a lot of room to grow, but I'm willing to do the work. Yeah, really the selfish part. I'm really selfish. A lot of people, like, I give a lot and I do a lot for people, but I'm also very selfish. Yeah. So it's not, you kind of lie to yourself. Like, oh, I was there for you, or oh, I did this for you. But like, when it really comes down to it, I know that I gotta kind of take myself out of it sometimes and put other people first more. Yeah. So yeah. How
do you draw that line between putting yourself first healthily and being selfish?
In our 20s, when you're finding yourself, you're not really supposed to compromise too much, because then you'll find yourself living for other people. So I think it's a constant rebalancing of like, who am I and who do I want to be? The more you know yourself, the more you'll know what you're willing to give people. So I would say always prioritize knowing yourself and just knowing where you want to go. I know I don't want to end up alone. I don't want to end up, even if I got all the money in the world, that shit would not be, it would not feel good to, not be able to enjoy with anybody. The people that allow you to be yourself are usually the ones that you could kind of want to grow for and want to change for, as long as it's in alignment with, what you see. And if it's not, then it's just constant rebalancing. Women are great at kind of catering to men. I can't spend all this time with you over months or years or whatever, and after all this time, you still feel like you're not getting what you deserve. Like, sooner or later, you're gonna have to give that to certain people in your life. So I just feel like a lot of prayer and meditation, but just realizing like it's not about me. As much as I want it to be about me, we need people in this life. And once you realize that it's about them as well, then you kind of just start to say, okay, what would she want me to do? What would he want me to do? Like, even with family and stuff like that, like, is that in alignment with something I could do? Like, is that plausible? Like, okay, then if I can't do it, why am I not doing it? Oh, probably just because I'm being selfish and I just want what I want. Yeah. So, yeah, but honestly, fasting helped me a lot. Like, it cleared my mind and allowed me not to feed into the same shit. It just made me look for more. Like, when you realize you need certain people in this life, you'll change for them. You'll ask questions of what they need from you, and you'll change for the better. So,
out of the 4 songs that you sent me, which is your favorite and why?
The Comeback. My brother produced that. That's just special because, similar to my cousin, me and my brother have similar tastes. It's a pleasure to be doing something like this with him. And that song just sounds like a movie to me. Like, it just sounds like some cinematic shit.
Don't speak on things of no substance. She think that she found a husband. I sweep my feelings in a dustbin. So the things I speak, she don't trust it. If it's not fate, let's say fuck it. Got no time to waste on discussion. No time for making assumptions. I like the way that you love me. If you can't love me, just fuck me. If you can't fuck me, just leave me. If you can't leave me, then tease me. If you can't meet me, delete me. You'll only see me.
Where were you at mentally when you made it?
I think the beat just put me in like a desperation. Like, it's certain conversations that we have that aren't regular. Like every once in a while, you gotta have that conversation. Like when she texts you, like, we need to talk, or when the nigga you've been talking to ghosts you. Because women, I know y'all be getting ghosted. I'm so sorry. You shouldn't have to go through that. But when you finally have that conversation, that everything that probably should have been said is said. That mindset, that kind of feeling that you get in your chest, that's kind of like the mindset that I was in when I was writing that. And I just felt really confident in the studio. So I talked a little, just a little bravado. But yeah, I just be talking to women, man. Sometimes it be just shit that I be going through that I don't say to them, that I put it in the music, which is probably not the best for my real life, but.
Some of the new tracks that you possibly have coming out.
Yeah, possibly.
That you were singing a little bit. How did you veer from rapping to singing?
I don't want to just be another rapper. So, and like I said, I like R&B. I like all types of music. So I really want to make music that can be given to like the masses.
And just transcend.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to stay in one realm.
Exactly.
And that's what I feel like I like a lot about your singing is that you're not trying to sound like anyone. Like it just sounds like you singing. You have a very strong tone, and it's so even. It's so strong. It's so even. It's like butter. It's kind of like cognac. Like what cognac looks like is what his voice sounds like.
Thank you.
And I appreciate the fact that you're staying with what feels right to you and just like leaning into that. Like it doesn't sound like you're stressing yourself when you go into the singing. It's like you evenly flow into it because it's like you're rapping and the next thing you know you're kind of singing. Some kind of like some of our favorite, like Beyonce, and Janae Aiko. Like they've kind of mastered that, flowing in and out of rapping. Because some people don't realize Beyonce be rapping.
Yeah, they don't know because her name's attached to it, but yeah, it is really rapping. But that's also why I wanted to sing a little bit, just to kind of play with tone and just experiment with my voice. I don't want to just be yelling at the mic. And, honestly, I make music, not saying I make music for women, but I want women to like my shit as much as I want, the respect of like certain men or whatever.
Absolutely.
And women don't want to hear rap all day. You know what I'm saying? Like they might appreciate it, and I love the ones that appreciate it, but I also want to, give them something that they can enjoy as well. So
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a big part of it.
Who are you?
I am a 26 going on 27-year-old Nigerian American, first generation Nigerian American that's trying to make great shit and progress along the way. I plan to take this music a lot more serious than I've been taking. And not saying that it hasn't been, but there's always another gear you could get into. So I plan on giving the world a lot, and I just pray, I pray people hear me. I pray they fuck with it.
Yeah.
I pray they accept it. And even if you don't, you probably will down the line. So get ready.
I need some bread.